Good evening. You're listening to another episode of Taking the Over with Billy Gunn, and I am your host, Billy Gunn, on this, the official sports wagering podcast of Boot Crew Media. And man, we're going to have a special, awesome show tonight. We're going to talk about baseball, MLB baseball. We're going to talk about gambling. We're going to make a new friend. I've got my co host T with me tonight. We got a baseball expert in the world. But first, I really want to talk to y'all about Royal Honda. My entire Royal Honda read has disappeared. But I just want to tell y'all that Royal Honda powers taking the over. And right now, there's never been a better time to buy a Honda from Royal Honda. They get excellent gas mileage. Royal Honda has great availability on all of their cars. I mean, it is just awesome. Awesome over there. You're never going to find a better Honda dealership. Even if you were considering other cars, you got to go back to the Honda. They're efficient. They're fast. They're beautiful. They're luxurious. They have a lot of options. Royal Honda, royalhonda.com. Taking the Over is powered by Royal Honda, and we're so thankful for them. This evening, we're joined by a first-time guest on the show. He's here to talk to us about whatever the heck is going on with baseball right now. I've read some of this guy's blogs. Dude, I've heard about you through like back channels, like people that know you from back in the day have been like, this dude knows baseball. Like he's the baseball guy. You know what I mean? So it was a no-brainer, but it's a little bit out of the blue. But he's also like, he's like the featured baseball person here at our network, Boot Crew Media. So we're very excited to be joined tonight by Dustin Michel. Dustin, how you doing, man? Welcome to Taking the Over. What's going
I'm good,
on?
Gunn. Appreciate y'all having me on, T. What's up?
Dustin, it's great to have you. I'm very interested to talk baseball. Generally, that's something I would never say, but since you're here, I feel like you're gonna bring some inspiration to it, make it much more fun than 9 innings generally is.
Oh, we're starting with the low blows already.
It's been a sport that I think when I was a kid I loved it because you went to the games. You know, everyone has that story. You walk out and you see the green grass for the first time, and you're like, "Wow, this is awesome!" And it lasted for a while. I think it's just I've developed like severe ADHD in old age, or it's like just the length of games has made it's tough. I think a big piece is being a lifelong Mets fan has really soured the sport.
No comment. But they are implementing things with that speed of the game that's coming that we'll probably get to at some point. But yeah.
Well, let's hold on. Let's back up. Let's back up. We've got Dustin here because I wanted to talk about the fucking baseball strike, right?
Yeah.
Because I want to bet on baseball.
Yeah.
But there's not going to be any baseball. And
Uh,
I want to tell you, like, I want to tell you my personal perspective is like, I see there's a baseball strike coming. I've been reading headlines. I have purposefully not been engaging in learning the finer details. It's like I want to know this shit analog style, right? Like I want to pretend like I live in a world without computers and cell phones, and like you'd be like, hear about the baseball strike? You'd be like, yeah, I'm not going to go look it up on the internet because the internet doesn't exist. Like I want to live like it's 1999, right? And like part of that is I purposely haven't been watching much. I can't even tell you what's going on. I do see like a variety of like it feels like they're just like throwing out crazy demands like on a multitude of like different topics and levels and everything else. Like none of that makes sense. It's almost like it's like a long simmering bad relationship. Like they're bringing up old shit. What about that time that you looked at my sister too long when you were drunk at the wedding reception? You know, like it feels like the players union and the owners are pulling stuff out that they're like, well, now that we've got a detente, fuck it, may as well air all the dirty laundry. Explain this thing from the beginning to me, man.
So yeah, I mean, you are 100% correct. It's been like you said, a bad relationship with these two going back and forth with each other, bringing up old shit from the past. It's one of those, they were almost in agreement the other night, and then apparently the owners slid in some verbiage into the contract that the players didn't even discuss, and I think they assumed that the players wouldn't catch it, and the Players Association was smart enough to catch those things and kind of say, decline the offer, and we're back to disputing over various different things that, like you said, they just keep bringing up. It's gotten to the point where I was following it. I mean, we're at this 96 days now. We're at this where I just was following it more in the beginning, and then now that it's come to what it's come to, I'm like you. I've kind of just turned it off, and it was like, look, I'll follow it when I can, but y'all just let me know when baseball is. And if I hear the word deadline one more time, the deadlines mean nothing. There
They
is
got
no
no deadlines. They like fuck the deadline. They've blown past so many deadlines. It's like they're building a highway.
Yep.
The deadline seemed arbitrary though. Like today, they canceled what until April 14th is the earliest opening day can be.
Early, yep.
It seems
Okay,
like
let
in
me say
theory
this.
they could start whenever they wanted to. They're just pushing it back. Like, why does 1 day delay in the negotiations make it so you have to cancel another 2 series?
Yeah, and it's funny. I heard somebody bring it up the other day that it's funny that the owners are willing to cancel these first few series of the season. That is their lowest revenue series through the whole season, is the first couple ones. So they're like, if it's canceled, it's canceled.
I mean, I've sat at Citi Field my fair share in April, and those games are not fun. Those are the games you leave in the 7th inning because it's windy and cold. And
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah. So
like-
it's been a battle, like you said, with a bad relationship with bringing up old shit. Yeah.
Okay, so at the end of any sequence of events in life, it always comes down to money.
Mhm.
It's always all about money with all these people.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to me, but with the world, right?
Yeah.
And like and that is kind of the weird thing. They'd be like, what if we change rules and you can't shift or you can't, it's like, no. I want to hear how far apart financially they are, right? Like fuck all the other stupid stuff. How
Well,
far
I
away
think
are
they're
they
getting
financially
I think they're
from
getting closer. I think they're getting closer financially. I think both of them are coming to sides with like, we need to get this done. Now it's almost like the bullshit other stuff is what's holding it up. Now they brought up today was they want to implement a international draft, and the players don't want to do it. The owners want to do it ASAP, and the players do not. So it's all the other minuscule things that are slowing this thing up. I think the money, the tiering now. There's going to be 4 tiers to the competitive tax, where they're calling it the Cohen T. You know who that is? The Cohen
I mean,
tax.
yeah.
So it's almost
is
like
that
they're
an
going.
owner? Is that an owner?
He's the new owner of the New York Mets as of last year. He's arguably, I think he is the richest owner in the
100%.
sport.
Yeah,
So
100%.
Good. Well, he's got the most money.
Yep.
he's a hedge fund guy. He's fought the SEC before. His office was based in Connecticut, still is.
Dude, I think praise be to that man. If I had ever fought the SEC, I feel like my heart will explode. Like I just fought the St. Tammany Parish School Board today, and I'm ready to go start burning shit down. And I'm
Okay.
not talking about literally, I'm talking about metaphorically in society. But yeah.
Well, I'll give you my address so that mine doesn't get burned down.
Yeah, no. I want you to be part of the resistance. It'll be okay.
But yeah, so there's the Cohen tax.
What's the number? What's the number, dude? What's the number? Does anybody know what the number is? How far away they are?
I haven't seen the latest updates recently as of today as to where they stand, but I think that it's getting sandwiched closer and closer together.
From my
I hope so.
understanding, it seems like it's the luxury tax issue, the additional charge on top, because the small market owners don't want to compete with the Yankees and Mets of the league when trying to manage their bankroll, and the Red Sox too. I'll include them. So you have like the Pirates is probably the prime example of the opposite, where the guy is raising prices and not the owner's raising prices, refuses to buy any new players, won't spend money, and expects fans to still show up and support. And then you have the Steve Cohens who says you raise the luxury tax to whatever the hell you want, and he'll still pay it. And I don't think that sits well with these small market owners. That's my thought on it. And Steve Cohen, to me, and this isn't a homer thought, it seems to me like he is the furthest away from the rest of the owners. He is not really on the owner's side in a way. I feel as if he's just kind of watching this unfold. That's my perspective on it. Could be completely wrong.
No, I think I agree with you there. I mean, he already's kind of come out and said, tax me, basically. I mean, just I have the money and just tax me. But then you also hear rumblings before the lockout happened that one of the small market teams, the Rays, offered a big blockbuster deal to Freddie Freeman, and then the lockout happened. So, I mean, there are teams that are willing to spend. Not all teams are going to be able to spend, the Cohen money and the Dodgers money and the Yankees money. But when my personal opinion is you can't buy championships. It's you can try to. The Yankees have been trying for a very long time, and I mean, there's background behind that, but they've been trying for years to buy a championship and they haven't. So you can try to buy the players, but they still have to play the game.
As a Mets fan, I've been on the wrong side of that. I've been in the small market mentality with the Wilpons, where they wouldn't spend a dime, and we were patching together rosters. So the fact that we have money now, call me the evil empire, whatever. I've ripped on the Yankees my entire life. Screw it. I want to be just like them.
Well, dude, I've been an Astros fan this whole time, right? I've been an Astros fan my whole life, to where like I applaud my Astros for their creativity and their ingenuity. We have found a way to win. And, I mean, like Bill Belichick does it in the NFL. Nobody cares. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Baseball had me, and that's why I'm so worried about this strike, right? So I think back to like my personal experience. Like, Dustin, when was the last strike? It was like 2000, or the big one.
It was 95. It was long. It was
95. Was it 95?
94 to 95. It was 232 days long.
Dude, I was so I would have been like a freshman in high school, or coming into my freshman year of high school. And I was as big of a fan of baseball as I had ever been. Right. And I would I think they did. That's the season they stopped at mid-season, because a lot of guys were on their way to like breaking records and stuff. And I was, ever since I was a child, I've fastidiously studied stats and followed stats. It's kind of like the thing that my brain loves is sports and sports stats. I guess I was wired to be a degenerate, from birth. But I feel like, and then when they just slammed the door shut on the season, dude, they lost me. I've never reached that same level of baseball fandom as I was in 1994.
So you know what I mean? You didn't follow the Maguire-Sosa home run race?
Oh, no, I did. I remember watching that, like getting drunk at like Buffalo Wild Wings in fucking Ohio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was that summer. That was that summer.
They claim that is what, quote unquote, saved baseball. Was they knew they had a problem, and they let every player do steroids, and they let them hit it 560 feet, and after the lockout, it saved the baseball.
There was like a Sports Illustrated article that came out somewhere between like 99 and 2002, 3, where it explained how baseball was basically stepping away from basically testing for steroids. And I read that article. I remember coming away from it so cynical, being like, okay, well then I guess it's a brand new day. Like, old records won't matter. New records will, be. But to me, I don't really give a shit. If you were letting everybody do it, then whatever. If you're going to you either have limits or no limits,
And that's 100% how I feel. It was definitely an era in baseball where everybody was doing it. So you had pitchers that were juicing, throwing against hitters that were juicing. So it was almost like, let them rip.
Chicks also dig the long ball. You have to remember that.
Yeah, remember that commercial. Yes.
So
I could probably tell you 100%. I don't think Greg Maddux or Tom Glavine did a single PED in their life.
Right, and it's probably good for them. I mean, I think PEDs, like, or just let's say like steroids, for example, that's not a winning thing like in life. Like, it's gonna fuck you up in the long run. I don't like I mean, I'm not for people using steroids, especially when they're young, because it's it's gonna fuck you up. It's not good for you. It's really, really bad for you. I remember being a kid. I remember being in college and being one of them social groups, like where you're obligated to do community service and stuff and have date girls and like dance with the elderly and go on campouts and whatnot and make lifelong friends. And yeah, they have those. They used to. I don't know if they still do. I hadn't checked on college for a minute, but like there'd be guys that were like, steroids are okay, but they hated on the guys that did like everything else that wasn't really too bad, and you'd be like, oh, you think nobody knows you're using steroids? Like you want to go to the beach, everybody wants, like, you want to take your shirt off at the bar and show your back knee, like, and you're very eager to fight. It's a horrible place to be.
Correct.
That's why only steroids for old people. Like once you get to like 45 or something, or a doctor should have to, and then they just start giving you steroids. Oh wait, we already do that. Oh wait, we do something even better. We do what? TRT, HRT. I mean, just
we get you.
Open it up. Let them do everything. Fuck it. Who cares? I mean, like, because when did they slam? Then Dustin, when did they slam the door? When did they close the door again?
Well,
because,
it was.
Then they shamed these guys for doing steroids when they made it okay to do steroids.
Yes, correct. And it was the Mitchell report that the investigators went and kind of did background checks and this and that on multiple organizations and franchises and players, and anonymously the list was given, and then it just became public, and then that's when a lot of baseball players' name was implicated with PEDs and steroids that you never would have thought of before. And I think now we're seeing this past Hall of Fame, Bonds, Clemens, those names are still there, not getting in. And then you have Ortiz, who obviously everybody knows got in, but he was in the Mitchell report. He was in it, and it was one of those, what did he do? What did he not do? We don't know exactly 100%. So it's one of those, I mean, they came out with the Major League Baseball just came out that they're not going to be testing for steroid or drug testing again. I don't know if that's going to be part of this new contract that they're trying to make a deal on. I'm pretty sure
one of those crazy demands.
To some extent, some worded will be in there for it. How much, we don't know.
Wow.
But it's becoming very apparent that, like you said earlier, Gunn, we're following the money, and offense, putting runs on the board, just like football is tailored to offense now. The more home runs, the more runs scored, the more money everybody makes, and we ban in shifts, and which I think is just an absolute crock of shit. But we want more offense.
The shift is, I'm like on the fence with the shifts, whether I like them or not. If I was a lefty, I would hate them, obviously. Right. But you see these guys like dropping down the drag bunts on the third baseline. Like, why aren't more people doing that? If they're playing the entire.
Why not figure out a way to beat the shift?
What? Yeah. All right. Since we're a gambling show,
you can beat the shift with steroids, right? Can't steroids overcome the shift?
Just hit
the motherfucker out the park, and the shift don't matter.
Basement, yeah.
Just hit it over them.
But doesn't this get closer to like idiocracy? when it's like, oh, I take most steroid, I hit ball further, fuck your shift. You know what I mean? Like aren't we really like this is what we're becoming, guys?
I mean, I said this to someone the other day. We're going to ban shifts, so it's almost like selling a defensive. Like tell Dennis Allen he can only play man coverage. He can't play zone.
Yeah,
It's
Zone
like-
defense
fair.
is gone. You can only play man to man.
right. Why don't you let the game police itself? Like hockey is a prime example.
Oh,
Let guys have enforcers. Let the game kind of play itself and find ways to beat the game. You put your physical guys against the fast guys when you line up. I know Gunn's not the hockey guy, so I won't go too far into that analogy.
I
but
played NHL '97, bro. I know what's up.
so he's an expert.
I don't think any other sport will get to hockey's letting them just.
Yeah, but I mean, like
Hockey,
let the
dude.
game
Hockey strike.
figure itself out.
Hockey strike fucked up hockey too.
Yeah,
Hockey strike.
two of
Like
them.
I was into hockey. It was like hockey. I think hockey maybe filled a spot that NBA went on strike one summer, and then hockey stepped in, and I was like, holy shit, hockey's bad to the bone. And hockey's playoffs are the same time as NBA's playoffs, so it was weird, you know. But then hockey went on strike when it had all the momentum. Strikes and lockouts are really, really bad for leagues. I mean, the NFL wouldn't catch a hiccup. You know, they'd start making fun movies about it 10 years later. Oh, remember that time they had the lockout in the NFL? Here's Keanu Reeves, you know, like, but
well, especially with baseball being where it is, this is not like this is the least like the worst sport to have this happen to based on terms of popularity. And with the younger generations kind of turning away from it, this is like a sport that's quote unquote on life support in terms of fanhood, besides the diehards, where you're really going to lose a lot of casuals now with this.
I mean, 100%. I agree with you. I mean, it's one of those. Even MLB made a push last season. All season long, they came out with a commercial. Let the kids play. Let us play. Mike Trout was on it. Tatis, all of the young franchise players that they want to push and make marketable. And it was just let us have fun. Let us play baseball. And then now we're locked out, and kids are going to start to navigate more towards football, more towards basketball, whatever it may be. And, you know, the young crowd, it's the long games, like you said. It's just the rhythm of the game. You gotta really love baseball. You gotta really love baseball.
It's turned to me where it's tough to watch a full 9-inning game. It's kind of watch when the Mets are on offense, watch when DeGrom pitches, kind of in the background. It's tough for me to sit and really watch like every pitch just because there's so many games and it's so long.
Yeah.
I don't think losing a few weeks off the season hurts you all that much in terms of getting those casuals back.
No. I mean, if it's April 14th they start, I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. We roll with the rules that are in place now. Bigger bases, what the shit? I don't know. Banning shifts. I mean, doing these things with the baseball, you know, whatever it may be, there needs to be more passion and more. They need to let there be more passion in the game. If it's kind of letting celebrations be celebrations and pitchers not getting their feelings hurt and having one run up against somebody's chin, you know, bat flips, whatever it may be.
When do you realistically see this lockout ending? If you had to give like a time frame, do you think it's close or do you think it's going to drag on for a while?
Man, I was on Twitter the other night. It was probably a week ago whenever they were in negotiations through the night. I was on Twitter in one of the spaces listening. Just they were updating the Twitter feed. The timeline was just going crazy with every single update, every single second. It was like, all right, this is getting really close, really close, really close. And then it stopped, and they didn't meet the next day until later that night because it ran late the night before, and then it just slowed down, and then things got thrown into it again. And then it was last night they were going back and forth, and it was all hours of the night. And then it was getting close. And now we have the international draft that was thrown in there, and that's something else that they're fighting over. So it's just, I see it. T, I really wish it was soon. I really wish they would just I really wish they would just come to their senses, both sides. And I feel like the players are giving so much, and the owners are just, taking, and it's like, I mean, even like they agree to the advertisements on the jerseys. I mean, as long as it doesn't turn into soccer, I'm fine with it. Put a patch on a jersey. The team makes
NASCAR. They're gonna be wearing full shirts of ads.
yeah, the
Dude,
team makes
NBA's got some ads on the jerseys.
NBA does, yes, and you can't even tell if
Right.
you're just a casual NBA fan or
Oh, I
watch a
think it's
game there.
fun. That's one of my favorite part about buying soccer jerseys is getting because my favorite team is bought by Qatar, like the royal family bought them. So I'm like, bring it on, like let's get it. They had awesome sponsors. And it would impact like as a fan, like ooh, like if they change the patch, I mean, like if your sponsor is cool, it's a cool jersey. I'd put Royal Honda on my jersey if I make another taking the over 420
Yeah,
jersey to wear to a road game next year, like I did this past year. I'll put Royal Honda's logo on it.
hell yeah.
That was a
It's,
hell of an afternoon wearing that jersey, sitting in row 5.
so yeah. To answer your question, T, I hope it's soon. I hope it's soon.
Dustin, is there anything about baseball that we haven't talked about that you'd like to talk about? Because I mean, dude, we could spend so much. I feel like we could spend so much time on baseball. Just like sometimes, like when T and I talk gambling, we could spend so much time on gambling. You know, is there
Right.
anything
Yeah.
about baseball that
Let's get
we
into
haven't gotten to?
gambling on baseball.
Oh
That
shit!
would
All
be
right, that's
ideal.
great.
We need all the help
I,
we can get.
okay, all right. Let me start. I have gambled a whole lot on
Okay.
sports. A lot. I've gambled on strange things. I've gambled on sports. I've gambled like people have criticized me for saying like you weren't otherwise going to watch the golf tournament on a Sunday afternoon, but you gambled on it and then it was fun and okay. And I was like, yes, exactly.
Right.
Yes, that's correct. What you just said is correct. And you're wrong for putting that in an accusatory way. Right.
Right.
I've never bet on baseball, with the exception of the time I bet on the Little League team from Jefferson Parish that won the Little League World Series. I put a lot of money on them, and Little Brothers delivered. And it was
That's
one of
awesome.
my favorite days of gambling in my life.
That's awesome. Fun
Yeah,
fact.
and some people we know I think did as well. Some people
Fun
you probably
fact.
know that I know that you know.
Yeah. Fun fact. My oldest son played on the original inauguration team of that Jefferson Parish organization.
Is that the one that I bet on?
No,
That
he
I
was on the
won?
first. This was my son. My
Oh,
oldest
okay.
now is
He was older.
almost 20. He was in there first when they first started the program, the Little League program. He was on the first team.
He was the
But
trailblazer. Yeah.
so I followed Coach Scott and them for a long time.
Dude, I mean that was awesome. That was a really cool thing that happened.
Oh yeah.
That's actually but that's my only baseball betting experience.
Really?
I don't have any baseball. Yeah, I've looked at baseball lines for a long time, and what's funny is even little young degenerate me that just went straight to the box scores in the back of the newspaper and these weird like horse lines, and then they would show like the game lines and all that. I was drawn to that at like 11.
Right.
I'd look at baseball box scores. Baseball's box scores are some of the most fun scores to read. In the back of baseball cards are some of the most fun stuff to read.
Right.
But in gambling, it's one thing that I find with new gamblers, and I see this a lot with my friends, like people will be reticent to bet on things that they don't really quite understand at all,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like,
Right.
oh, this is written a certain way. Like they've made soccer betting more accessible because it used to show like this is going to be the score and this is going to be the total goal, but they did it in a way that was so hard to present to people. Like I didn't bet on soccer back in those days. Like there was bets I didn't take, I didn't understand them. A lot of the same stuff applies with baseball. When I was first getting introduced to baseball gambling, they had like 5-inning bets or like 7-inning bets or like different stuff, and it was so tied to the starting pitcher. It was so starting pitcher intensive, right?
Right.
And like it seemed like even to us, like I've always been okay at gambling. When I was, at the beginning, I wasn't as good. Today I'm pretty good. Just too many variables with baseball. Too many moving parts.
Yeah, and I would definitely agree with that. I think that I would lean, if I'm a bet baseball, it's going to be that six leg parlay I sent to y'all the other day. The futures.
Oh yeah.
The futures. It's going to be, I'm a bet on who's going to win the Cy Young, who's going to win American League MVP. Where I'll just lay money down and wait. I got all season to wait and figure it out and see if my money's good or not. But game in, game out, parlays, bets, prop bets, whatever it may be, that's a tough life.
I never fucked with it, with the one exception of the Little League game. I've never bet on baseball in any of my gambling, and I was excited to do so this year. Like I'm chomping at the bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, oh, whoops, sorry, no season so far. Maybe later.
We'll see. But T, you didn't like my 6-leg parlay I had?
I did, except for I think you had the Mets in there, which was just an instant loss in my mind. I've been trained that. It's been
I didn't see any Astros either.
And you won't.
Fair enough.
I like the prop bets for baseball, like the over strikeouts. You can even take guys to get like total bases, total hits. You could do like
I want to bet strikeouts. I want to bet strikeouts.
Is fun.
I want to bet
There's nothing
strikeouts
like-
all day.
Yeah,
I want to bet strikeouts every day.
A Wednesday, 1 p.m., sweating out over 4.5
Every
strikeouts.
single day of the week, I will bet strikeouts.
Fifth starter, like,
right?
It's fun.
And it's like you were saying, the 5-inning bets to open in a game. It's now different variables to it. They have what they call openers now. Starters don't even start anymore for some teams. They have openers who throw the first inning and then come out, and then they bring in somebody else, and it's just a bullpen game. So that makes a 5-inning game a difficult bet when you don't know who the starting pitcher is going to be, hopefully for the first 5 innings. But the art of starting pitchers going long innings, deep into inning counts all season long is gone as well. They barely let these guys get to the 4th inning, 5th inning. Quality starts have declined drastically. You don't have the workhorse, at Roy Halladay that are just up there chunking it every 5th day.
Gotcha. Look, I want to shift gears for a minute, okay? We got to get out of baseball. We're soon to be contractually obligated to talk about the USFL because we are the official sports gambling podcast of the USFL in the greater New Orleans area media market.
Damn straight.
Nobody can fuck with that. In fact, we might initiate this as this trio here, but what I'm saying is we started a new segment on the show. It's called You Have to Pick a Winner of the USFL Championship this year. Before I go any further, do you have any devices, any internet open? I don't want you Googling. There's no Google, bro. No Google, no Alexa, no Siri. Okay.
Nope.
For the next couple minutes.
All right.
We can agree to that. All right. And for the listeners still listening on the podcast feed, which by the way, you can find on any major podcast app, just search Taking the Over with Billy Gunn, Apple, Spotify, Google, whatever, Podbean, go find it. Please subscribe. We want you to pick a USFL winner. We've had our last 2 weeks of guests have made this pick. We've played this game. It's been a lot of fun. Okay. The thing is, as we get started here, we first want you to, as part of this exercise, as part of this game, name the 8 teams in the USFL without any assistance from ladies named
shit. So New Orleans has the Breakers. Okay. Tampa Bay's got a team. Houston's got a team.
Okay.
Right?
We'll allow locations. Yeah, you're good. You got
No,
3
dude, we're so yeah. By the way, to make it easy, if you can get either the city or the name, we'll take that. We're pretty forgiving.
Michigan.
Okay.
Michigan.
Michigan is an answer. That is correct.
Michigan. For some reason, Panthers is coming to my mind, but I don't think
You
it's
got it. Spot on.
really.
Yeah, Michigan Panthers.
Yeah, I no, I didn't give a shit.
Oh shit!
I mean, I just now learned that their last name is Panthers
Yeah,
because
it's
T verified it. I just was so excited you said Michigan because that's the name of a team.
I've read the list.
I forgot what their
over and over.
mascot is. Oh, I still don't check the list.
Oh,
Yeah,
I've read it.
No, I'm with the guests.
losing
I'm
people
playing
on
along
this.
with the guests.
okay. Yes, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Houston,
Uh-huh.
Michigan, Atlanta,
Okay.
Seattle.
Fuck T.
No.
I don't
No.
think there's Atlanta or Seattle. But just
No?
for context,
Oh, there's not.
don't
Oh,
feel
I see.
bad.
I wrote Atlanta down as if it was correct. I'm just
St.
at
Louis?
this point. I'm taking Dustin's word for it.
St.
It was
Louis.
Five
T-
Blue last time said the New Orleans
T's
Bees.
going to have to regulate this game because I'm taking any answer you give me as correct, and I'm counting it, and I'm accepting it as the
I don't-
acceptable. Like, and then
I
I'm
don't
like,
think there's Atlanta or Seattle.
I was going to pick
unfortunately.
Atlanta
What
to
about
win
St.
the
Louis?
league.
T?
What's that?
St. Louis. St. Louis has a team.
That's the XFL, the St.
Mm.
Louis Guardians, I believe it is.
No, that's the Cleveland Guardians in baseball.
I think there is a Guardians in the XFL too. They're going to have a contract dispute soon too.
They already settled that. They already settled.
Yeah, I think.
So is it fair to say, like, are you tapped out at 4 teams?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I tapped out. Yeah.
You're done?
Well, for bonus points, can you name where the games will be played?
Oh yeah, this is big.
On a football field.
Oh no, that doesn't count. We're not 3-card Monty on Bourbon Street, dude. We're not trying to. We don't know where you got your shoes. Okay.
No.
What city?
No. It's from what I read. I thought I said it. I thought I read it was, or when I saw they're all at one spot, right?
Right.
Yeah, they're all playing in the same town. Every game's going to be in the same stadium.
Yeah, so it's pointless to have all of these cities.
Can I give you a hint? Because you don't know right now. You don't know, right?
Oh yeah, give me a hint.
All right. It's not a very impressive city. It's a pretty shitty city.
Atlanta.
No, good answer though. Great answer.
We'll put that one on a T-shirt.
That's fucking great. I love it. Dude, when he said Atlanta as a team, I wrote it down on my piece of paper, and then you corrected it, and I had to scratch it out. I got big.
So wait, is it one of the team's cities is where it's being held?
So that's the thing. It's not, which is just
not.
more bizarre.
Right. And let me tell you again, it's a pretty shitty city. I feel like we can't give any more clues and make
It's
it.
got to be in the South.
Actually,
there
is a team there. There is a team there.
Oh, there is a team there?
Apparently there is. Yeah. So we're all learning something.
Obviously, one of the ones I
me in the
haven't said.
Godass.
It's not in New Orleans, so I know that
It's not New Orleans, which means New Orleans Breakers will not be playing in New Orleans.
Tampa Bay.
No, good answer, but we're going to take that as your answer. The city where they'll be playing all the games is Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh.
In that old ratchet ass stadium in Birmingham.
That was the response we expected. A dejected.
It's a good answer. I mean, dude. There's no way you would have guessed that. It's unfair.
You're at the top of the leaderboards right now, though, for guesses.
Yeah, you're doing really well so far, but we haven't gotten down to what really it comes down to is the most important question. So you're doing better than any guest we've had on so far, in that you've answered.
Wait, I did better than Chris.
Chris only named
Dude,
half
Chris let me tell him about Chris. Dude, Chris is the smartest motherfucker I know.
Yeah.
You know, that covers the Saints or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's so good and whatever. And like he reminds me of like Ariel Helwani or something like on UFC, like early Joannic, you know, like he's got like a Joannic vibe, like the only team he could name, it was the New Orleans Bees. He knew New Orleans had a team, right? Yeah. So he knew that we had a team, but he just said, but he got the letter B right. And they were like, well, we'll take that. That works. Yeah, the New Orleans Bees are going to win because maybe, and we're like, maybe Rosviglu is starting a new, like, he's starting the new trend, the new name, the new nickname of them. Just call them the Bees.
Bees. Yeah.
Instead of Breakers.
One's Bees instead of Breakers.
But he didn't know that they were the Breakers.
Okay.
Mr. Football.
Tongue tied a bit.
like why? Just no. It's like why the fuck would I pay attention to the USFL? It's a joke.
He's so deep in draft analyst right now.
He's amazing. He wears a lot of hats. Works for a lot of companies. He's awesome. I'm number one fan.
Yep.
But then T has been keeping track, and like our guest a couple weeks ago picked the Houston Gamblers.
Oh, so they're the Gamblers. Okay.
Houston has the Gamblers.
Okay.
So you need to make your pick now. You need to now pick.
Well, who's the Birmingham? Birmingham what?
The Birmingham Stallions.
I was going to say Stallions first came to mind. Yeah.
No, they're not winning it.
No. Well, they have home field advantage in every fucking game to eternity. Like the motherfuckers in purgatory playing in Birmingham.
Let's go with the Michigan Panthers.
I like it. I like that a lot.
Who had the first pick? Who had the first pick overall?
Not us. We had the last picks on.
Yeah.
We had the last fucking pick, and it wasn't even like a fantasy draft. Like if we got eighth, if there's only 8 fucking teams, and you get the 8th pick, shouldn't you have the 9th pick too?
They didn't snake
like a fantasy draft.
Yeah,
the draft was bogus.
It was not a snake draft.
It
was not a snake draft. It was shit.
You picked specific positions in each round. So first round was quarterbacks only.
Oh, then we took like 9 left tackles before we took a quarterback though.
We took a quarterback in the first round, and then it was
we took 3. We started the draft with 3 left tackles after the quarterback. It was a heavy left tackle based offense.
So we got the worst quarterback in the draft.
Kyle Slaughter. Because
we picked 8.
Yeah, but if you draft enough left tackles, you can overcome it. I think is Coach Fedora's strategy.
They also have 8 defensive ends they drafted consecutively.
Yeah. I like where his head's at. I like where his head's at. It's like the Saints.
Yeah, they like the Saints.
Lineman, an offensive lineman, and a quarterback.
Typical.
This is the deepest we've dove into the roster makeups on the USFL so far. So
because we are the official USFL wagering podcast. I mean, like I said, so we've got like 3 picks that we can give out to the people. And the bad thing about this segment, Dustin, is that it's coming to an end. Like we've only got a couple more weeks of it. And then like they're actually going to start playing the games, and then people should know who the teams are. I don't know. Actually, T, I've never thought of it in terms of like once the games actually start, a lot of guests still probably won't know all 8 teams.
Yeah, I think you're giving putting a lot of faith in people watching the USFL.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. Football's football. It gives you something to do. It's nationally broadcast, something to gamble on. I say that now. I'm sure I'll be sick of it after 2 weeks.
Why is none of the other leagues sustainable?
Yeah, that's a great question.
That's a great question.
We need the fumble jump ball to start again.
I thought the XFL was good. I watched the original XFL in real time, and I thought it was fantastic.
The nicknames on the back. The nicknames on the back were tremendous. He hate me. We will always be remembered forever.
Yep.
Dude, did y'all ever see the Lingerie Football League? And it was on cable. I found it on cable. I did not find it on pay-per-view or the internet. I found it in 2009.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this?
I think it was like an arena football mashup, but all the players were women wearing bras and shoulder pads.
The uniforms were so horribly demeaning.
Yeah.
I think it still exists to this day. I don't know.
Maybe Tijuana, the Tijuana Lingerie League.
It's like baseball and everything else.
Oh, come
on. So we've made it through so far without baseball. Have we missed any games? We'd still be.
Spring training would be going on right now. We're missing spring training games. If they get a deal done, apparently tomorrow, the teams report to spring training Friday, and we start from there.
Gotcha.
Are they going to elongate spring training? Or are they going to shorten it so that they can start at a reasonable time, or is it going to be the same length as it would have been?
From what the last thing I saw, they're gonna shorten it. They're gonna try and start April 14th, and apparently there's still gonna be 162 games. They're gonna sandwich the games in that was missed on off days and double headers. So
Can I tell you how much I like that from a gambling standpoint?
love it.
Oh my God. More opportunities for parlays and multi-connected bets and teas. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Dude, what about this? The Calvin Ridley news, right? We're only 2 days after it. I know everybody's got a short attention span, but
Yep.
Calvin Ridley of the University of Alabama, is that correct?
Correct.
And then drafted by the Falcons and had a few years of sustained success and was on a very, very upward trajectory. And then last year he was kind of like I'm going to take some games off for mental health type of guy, right? And hey, no worries with that, right? But like, money is at the end of everything. So sometimes people have low tolerances for that. It's just the world is cynical in that regard. They don't treat people's mental health with the proper respect. And while he was out on medical health leave, he gambled on some football.
Yeah.
Allegedly, or I think confirmed, according to the NFL.
He confirmed it on Twitter himself.
Confirmed?
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, he was pretty clear. Man, does he have pure classic sign of a guy who hasn't hired a lawyer yet?
Yeah, pretty much. He flat out said, "I put 1,500 on a parlay. I couldn't even watch football at that time."
Calvin Ridley is now the official athlete of taking the over.
Love that.
No, I mean, I don't know. Like, I just worry that he hasn't hired an attorney yet. That's like, I'm worried about the man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and somebody, like, the way he was tweeting after it all, like, I'm willing to give the presumption of innocence to anybody. But it sounds like he like admitted it and was like, yeah, every step of the way. And they're like, okay, we're going to suspend you immediately and indefinitely. And we're just maybe going to leak some press releases that it's going to be a year.
Yep.
But really, you think they're not going to make an example of him? This is the NFL.
Right.
This is not Major League Baseball, who actually, they ban people from the Hall of Fame over this. What's the NFL going to like? And you'll see the memes, and you'll see it this way, and you'll see it that way. And honestly, I'm weirdly sympathetic in the sense that I don't blame him for doing that, because I think that the greed of like the NFL and the greed of like specifically the NCAA college football. When I saw that LSU was like sponsored by the Caesars app, I was like, are we allowing 18-plus-year-old athletes to gamble? I don't know. Like, I'm unclear. Is that allowed? Is that not allowed?
Probably not.
Common sense would tell you that it's not allowed.
Right.
But man, it sends such a weird message.
Yes.
When the stadium is literally bathed in the colors of gambling and sin, and you expect the athletes on the field, they'll time the timeouts and the colors and the lights on the field to the color of whatever the gambling endorsement is.
I think if there's a way that they could police the integrity of the game to where it's true and it's raw in its form, and you don't have the possibility of a kid/adult professional player impacting the over-unders or whatever it may be, any prop bets, and it doesn't affect the outcome. I think if they can find a way to police it, I mean, let the players bet. They want to bet on something. Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. The man bet on.
I'm not sure you should be able to bet on your sport either. Like, I understand the rule. Yeah. I understand the rule. That's the irony of it. And let me tell you, I mean, guys, fixing exists. It exists.
Oh, yeah.
It might not exist in places that you look for it. And that's a whole nother day. That's a whole nother
Yeah,
podcast.
that-
Like
that- yeah.
I can't even get into that. We've got a maximum of 8 more minutes with you.
They did do a study on that, an
Really?
actual study on fixing in sports, and it's like rampant in like international lower level soccer and things like that, where it's again harder to police.
Right.
But it's something like 7%
It's an understood
of all
fact in the
sporting
judo,
events.
or the sumo world. The
Mm.
sumo world, it's understood. It's part of the strategy of the game is fixing.
Well, you saw how Calvin Ridley got popped, right? Like the
Yeah.
What
NFL
was that?
NFL has they've hired a firm that tracks every NFL player's IP address or whatever it may be, and he logged in to the app in the state that he's registered in and placed the bet. And the NFL
So he's
caught him. Well,
asking to be caught.
the firm that they hired caught him and notified the NFL.
He was trying to do some like kind of outside the scope of the law type shit.
I mean, he knew that he couldn't gamble, and he gambled.
Hey.
He didn't bet on the Falcons, right? Like, I
don't-
think, is that confirmed?
Dude, how would he not bet on the Falcons?
I mean, that's the easiest bet. Fade your
How
own
the
team every
fuck
week.
would he
You're gonna
not
be a
bet?
millionaire.
He worked like they like. You think he was? Oh, I'm not gonna bet on the Falcons. Okay, I'm gonna break the rule. This huge red line
Right,
of
Right,
gambling on the sport.
right.
Oh, but I'm gonna have a moral quandary with betting on the Falcons.
Calvin Ridley is.
I'm here.
is
Breaking
defying
news.
morals.
We're back in sports gambling reporting news. Breaking news on taking the over is now we have 100% verification. Calvin Ridley, he absolutely bet on the Falcons.
Okay.
You know he bet on the Falcons. He probably flipped that 1,500 or whatever real fast. Didn't he give up his amount?
Yeah,
I only
he
bet
was
like
I think he
1,500
did 3
a
separate
day.
parlays: a 3-leg, a 5-leg, and an 8-leg.
Yeah.
He's like, I only bet 1,500 a day, man. I don't have a problem.
So he's a rookie gambler at best.
Wait a minute. That's right. Let us not, wager shaming can go both ways.
Yes.
Let's not wager shame the meek, the poor, and the miserable. Let's not wager shame the rich, the powerful, the non-humble, right?
Right.
Like, don't wager shame anybody. But that motherfucker is like, I don't have a problem. I just bet 1,500 my first day.
He was tweeting straight through it.
Oh boy.
I love it. So the question comes up, like, we don't have a Hall of Fame on this show yet, of gambling people, right? And I mean, my natural inclination to Calvin Ridley is that like he plays for the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm a Saints fan, and I don't like the Falcons, right? And he went to the University of Alabama, and I'm obligated to be an LSU fan, and we don't really like Alabama. But I strangely want to embrace Calvin Ridley and his dedication
Mhm.
and his zest, his joie de vivre for gambling. And I want to induct him into the Taking the Over Gambling Hall of Fame tonight.
Congratulations, Calvin.
Congratulations,
Congratulations, Calvin Ridley.
Calvin T. Rose Ridley.
I'll have my people reach out to your people, and we'll make some shit happen.
We'll have Justin put up a plaque at the Boot Crew Studios.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Oh, bro, we'll get
On the
something
wall.
that's worthy of putting on a plaque. We're gonna follow this all the way. We're gonna see this through. Dude, I want to thank you for coming on and hanging out with us tonight. This was so massive. Like I said, you came recommended as a guest from people that I've known for a long time and respect that you don't even know, and like it was cool. And
I appreciate
man, I
y'all
just
having
like, oh yeah, dude. Is there anything that we didn't get to tonight that you want to make sure that we get to?
No, This was great. This was wonderful. I love the baseball dialogue. I love all the other shit we talked about. Talked a little bit about the Yankees, a little bit about the Falcons. So that's always good on my part.
Yeah. Yeah. T, you got anything for the people out there?
I got a quick question for Dustin, and that's how did you become a Red Sox fan? Because I am very interested in geographic fanhood. Northeast, we have 3 teams. We have Red Sox, Yankees, Mets, so it's usually one of those. But in the Gulf Coast, you have what? Braves, Astros, Cubs, I guess, because of TV rights.
Cubs. Yeah, Cubs and White Sox. You have a bunch of those fans down here. The Braves fans, the Cubs, the Astros. The Red Sox, it was just one of those, Mo Vaughn was there when I was coming up, and Nomar, and just I was always considered myself an underdog when I played ball. And the Red Sox are always an underdog to the Yankees, no matter how many times we smashed them. We're always considered an underdog. So I just kind of fell in love with the Red Sox and just followed them. 2004 was amazing. And every World Series since then has been amazing. Yeah, it's been fun.
Fun fact about Mo Vaughn is he went to high school with my mom. He's from Connecticut.
Really?
Yeah, he went to Norwalk.
Nice. That's awesome. Good old Mo Vaughn.
That's my fun fact for the day.
There you go.
But yeah, Dustin, it's been an absolute pleasure. Really liked having you on. Billy,
thanks for having me on, fellas. I appreciate it. Good shit.
I think it's time, Gunn.
It's time. Dustin, on the show, we have a tradition, right? We ask every single guest at the end of the show to tell all of the good listeners, to tell all of the overtakers out there listening to Taking the Over, good night.
All of the wonderful listeners out there of Taking the Over, good night.
Mm-hmm. Good night. And we'll see y'all again next week. Ooh, next week, March Madness with Lauren Jaffe of Gambling Twitter. This is next week. Next week's Ladies' Night. We'll see y'all next week. Hugs, kisses, loves, buys. Later.